thanks for joining me again today. I'm Jean here at the Rockville branch of the Pamunkey Regional Library, and it's April. We've made it to spring, and thank goodness for that. April is also National Poetry Month, and today I thought it would be fun if we look into a couple of forms of poetry. Now, I don't know about you, but although I love poetry, sometimes it can be a little intimidating. It's hard to decipher what the poet is trying to say in a particular piece, and it's even harder to try to write. I'm sure you're all familiar with a lot of different types of poems. We've all heard of ballads and elegies and odes and sonnets, even limericks. But today I'm going to be talking to you about two easier forms of poems, easier to write, easier to understand, and they are the Diamante and the Haiku. So the Diamante is named that because once the poem is created and it's complete, it will actually sort of form the shape of a diamond. And it follows a very strict formula with 7 lines, the first line being a noun, the second line being 2 adjectives describing that noun, the third line being 3 verbs going with that, along with that noun. The fourth line is where the transition occurs. And by transition, I mean that we are going to transition between your beginning noun and your ending noun. So you kind of want to know where you're ending up with this. So on this fourth line, you will have 4 nouns. 2 of them will describe your initial noun, and the second 2 will start to describe your ending noun. The 5th line will be 3 verbs describing your ending noun, and the 6th line will be 2 adjectives describing your ending noun. So once that is formed, you'll have a short beginning and end lines with the center lines being longer, thus creating your diamond shape. So I have I have 2 examples of a Diamante today to read for you so you can kind of get the feel for what they would sound like. The first one, smile, happy, warm, welcoming, inspiring, soothing, curve, lips, expression, emotion, disturbing, deterring, depressing, sad, unwelcome, frown. So we started with smile, ended with frown. The second one I'm going to read to you starts with summer. Summer, hot, happiness, laughing, playing, smiling. Beach, vacation, here's the transition, ski, snowman. Sledding, freezing, snowing. Cold, Christmas, winter. So, in both of these examples, the beginning and ending nouns were opposites. Doesn't have to be that way. You could start with a rose and end with a daffodil and describe each one following the rules of the Diamante. You could use a person's name and another person's name, and in between describe the differences or how they're alike. So it's a very fun poem, easy to do, and I would encourage you to give that one a try. The next poem we're going to be discussing is a haiku, and I'm sure you've all heard of haikus. It's a form of poem that was created around the 17th century in Japan, and it is a very brief poem that is supposed to use very short descriptive sentences or words to evoke a very strong image. And the most traditional haikus would always be centering around nature, the changing seasons, something like that. While haikus may be short, it's their brevity and their simplicity that make them so beautiful and amazing, that something can be described in such detail in using so few amount of words. It's quite incredible. So, like a Diamante, a haiku also follows a very strict formula. A haiku will only have 3 lines, and in each line there is a definite syllable count, not word count, syllable count. So your first line you will have 5 syllables, second line 7 syllables, third line 5 syllables, back again. I do have a couple examples of a haiku. This first one is by Matsuo Basho, and it's called The Old Pond. An old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash. Silence again. My second one is by Kobayashi Isa, and it's called Everything I Touch. Everything I touch, with tenderness, alas, pricks like a bramble. I like that one. So let's look at the first one that I read to you to see if it actually follows the format of the traditional haiku. So the first line, an old silent pond. An old silent pond, 5 syllables. A frog jumps into the pond. A frog jumps into the pond, 7 syllables. Splash, silence again. Splash, silence again, 5. So this particular haiku totally follows all the traditional parts of a haiku that a haiku should meet. It has the syllable count correct, and it also is describing nature. So in the spirit of a haiku, today I'm going to introduce you to something called book spine poetry. In book spine poetry, you take just the title on the spine of a book, line them up, and create a haiku-like poem using just the spine. So here's one example for you. I went around and just gathered up these books at the Rockville branch here, and this is the poem that I created. Hallowed bones, the color of rock, beneath the night tree at the water's edge, the river widow. Kind of a little dark, but it's kind of interesting. It's short, it's descriptive, like a haiku. It doesn't follow the rules of a haiku, but you know, it's a very interesting short haiku-like poem. So this is another example of one I made. I'll read it to you. Summer shadows, a cloud in the shape of a girl, creatures in a gilded cage, Indian summer. So I'm going to encourage you all to try to write your own book spine poem. Go around your home, go around your office, come here to the library. You're certainly welcome to use all our books. We have a lot of them. And create your poem, snap a picture of your poem with your cell phone, and then email it to us here at the library at ask@pamunkeylibrary.org, and that'll appear right below here also. Email us your poems that you've created, and we will make sure that they get uploaded to our Facebook and Instagram pages. So this month, read some poetry. Better yet, write some poetry. Try the Diamante, try the haiku. They're very easy, they're fun. Try the book spine poetry. And make sure you send those emails to me here at the library. I can't wait to see what you create. Enjoy Poetry Month. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.